The night the temperature fell so fast it cracked tree trunks like gunshots. Everyone on the mountain believed the cold would win. Wind howled through the valley. Snow packed itself against doors like cement, and cabins that stood for decades began to bleed heat and hope at the same time. In the middle of that frozen silence, one small cabin glowed faintly from within, stubbornly warm, protected by a strange wall that people had laughed at for years. And inside that cabin, a veteran and his dog waited calmly, because they already knew what the storm was about to teach everyone else. If you believe in silent heroes and second chances, take a moment right now to like, comment, share, and subscribe to this channel. Stories like this survive because people like you still believe quiet courage matters. His name was Daniel Harper, a United States Army veteran who had returned home with scars no one could see and a mind that never fully left the cold nights overseas. The noise of towns made his chest tighten, and the expectations of family only deepened the distance he already felt. When his marriage collapsed under the weight of things neither of them knew how to say, Daniel moved north with only his dog, a loyal mixed-breed shepherd named Rusty, who never left his side. They found a small, weathered cabin deep in the mountains, a place most people avoided because winters that were unforgiving and isolation came standard. Daniel was not welcomed back into the family. He married into. His parents-in-law believed he had failed their daughter, failed himself, and failed the life they had imagined. When he spoke about fixing up the cabin his way, about insulation experiments, and a strange thermal wall he wanted to build, they dismissed him completely. They told him to be practical, to follow standard designs, to stop acting like the war had broken his judgment. When he refused, they cut him off. Daniel did not argue. He had learned that survival sometimes meant walking away quietly. Money was tight. Daniel used salvage wood, old stone, and packed earth. The wall he built on the north side of the cabin looked ridiculous to outsiders. It was thick, uneven, layered with stone, dirt, and recycled materials, designed to trap heat and block wind rather than look pretty. Neighbors passing by shook their heads. They called it the crazy wall. They joked that he was building a bunker instead of a home. Daniel listened without reacting, his hands steady, Rusty always nearby, watching as if he understood the importance of every stone placed. What no one saw was how carefully Daniel worked. He studied how wine moved across the ridge, how snow drifted, how the earth itself held warmth even in the deepest cold. He remembered nights overseas when survival depended on small decisions made quietly and early. Rusty became part of the process, pawing at snowbanks, alerting Daniel to weak spots where wind slipped through. Together, they sealed the cabin layer by layer, not against the world, but against the cold that had taken too much from too many. Winter arrived heavier than anyone expected. A polar front descended on the region, pushing temperatures far below normal. Power lines snapped under ice. Heaters failed. Cabins built to code still lost heat faster than fires could replace it. People huddled under blankets, breath fogging the air inside their homes. Emergency shelters filled quickly. Some families fled in the dark, engines freezing before they reached the highway. In Daniel's cabin, a single thermometer told a different story. While the outside temperature plunged into deadly negatives, the interior held steady, staying 32 degrees warmer than surrounding homes. The crazy wall absorbed the cold, blocked the wind, and slowly released stored warmth back into the cabin. Rusty slept peacefully near the hearth, ears twitching only when the wind screamed hardest outside. As the storm worsened, Daniel checked on neighbors when he could. He helped where he was able, guiding people towards safety, offering what little extra warmth he had. Word spread quietly that his cabin was holding. People who had laughed now stared in disbelief, comparing temperatures, wondering how a man with no money and no help had done what expensive materials could not. If this story is starting to move you, please take a moment to engage with this video. Your support helps these real stories reach people who need them most. The cold lasted for days. When it finally eased, the damage became clear. Several cabins were unlivable. Livestock had frozen. Families faced losses that would take years to recover from. And in the middle of it all stood Daniel's cabin, battered but warm, the strange wall darkened with frost on the outside and dry on the inside. Officials came. Engineers asked questions. Neighbors apologized in small, awkward ways. Daniel never claimed genius. He said only that he had listened to the land and trusted what experience had taught him. Rusty stayed close, accepting gentle pats from strangers as if he understood his role in something bigger. Then came the people Daniel did not expect. His former parents-in-law arrived one quiet afternoon, their faces tight with something that looked like pride and shame mixed together. They had lost power for days. They had heard the stories. They saw the wall, touched it, felt the warmth inside the cabin. Everything they had dismissed stood solid in front of them. The shock was not just about the wall. It was about the man they had underestimated. Daniel did not reopen old wounds. He offered coffee, warmth, and silence. In that warmth, something shifted. They saw that the man they had judged had not broken. He had adapted. He had built something that saved not only himself, but others. The cabin became a place people studied, not mocked. The crazy wall became a lesson. Daniel began helping others reinforce their homes, teaching what he had learned, never charging more than people could afford. He did not seek recognition. He sought peace. Just before this story ends, we have a special request. Please comment below and share what part of Daniel and Rusty's journey stayed with you the most. When the next winter came, the mountain was ready. Cabins were stronger. People listened more. And on the North Ridge, a veteran and his dog sat quietly by the fire, the wall doing its work, proving that sometimes the ideas that save lives are the ones everyone laughs at first.